Back to New Orleans, real estate developers are on a mission with an ambitious plan to create a new outdoor-focused entertainment district on the banks of the Mississippi River near Audubon Park called the Batcher. Well, this week they bought the land that would be used for the project. Joining us now is one of the developers, Ben Jacobson, to talk more about this plan. Very ambitious. We were talking a little bit during the break. I'm surprised New Orleans doesn't already have something like this.
Yeah, so that's sort of how the idea started. About 8 years ago, my partner Casey Burke and I, just like a lot of other people like yourself had wondered, like, why is there nothing on the river where you can go enjoy a nice meal, drinks, hang out with your friends and family, and just take in the river scene. And we sort of started out this journey to figure out how to make it happen, and ultimately found this property, which is one of the few privately owned riverfront properties in New Orleans. And it took us a long time, but a couple days ago we finally were able to close on that property.
So where is this property exactly for most folks who may be thinking, well, where is this? We know it's by the Fly.
Yeah, so
behind Audubon.
Yep, so it's just upriver from the Fly. There's a couple other marine industrial properties that are actively being used just upriver adjacent to the Fly, but just beyond that, there's envisioned, which is an active tugboat operation. So our property runs from the border of envisioned up to the Broadway Beach property. It does not include the Broadway Beach property, which is its own sort of amenity and asset to the community. So our property is between envisioned and Broadway Beach.
So kind of explain the vision here. What is it that folks are can expect from this?
Yeah, so our vision is making this a very much a community asset, and we're developing this for the community and really turning it into a riverfront park. Similar to the Butterfly, but it will have food, beverage, and hospitality components incorporated into it to have a little bit more of a curated, elevated experience versus the Fly, which is more of a do-it-yourself, bring your own stuff. This will be, you'll be able to show up with just yourself, go to a nice restaurant, and enjoy yourself out there, let the kids run around the lawn, and just relax.
Do you guys already have interest from vendors, perhaps, to be a part of this?
Yeah, so we're talking to a lot of different tenants, and it's been interesting the last few days, because for the last 5 years that we've been working on this, we haven't really been able to talk about it because we had confidentiality agreements with the seller. And now that it's out there, people are reaching out to us, but we have already been engaged with a lot of different tenants, and there's been tremendous amounts of interest.
This will really put something away from the French Quarter and those other entertainment districts that we're so used to. What is it that you're hoping this will do long term, not just for the city, but for Uptown itself? Yeah,
I mean, look, we see this as a project. We're locals. We're from Uptown. We see this for locals. We're not trying to create a tourist destination here. We're trying to develop local businesses that people know and love that are in the Uptown and New Orleans neighborhoods already. But I think that for generations to come, the hope is that, similar to what West End Restaurant Row used to be, if you remember Fitzgerald's and Bruning's. I mean, I remember some of my favorite childhood memories were at Bruning's, sitting there every Sunday night with my family, watching the sunset. And I think this can be another iteration of that.
It's certainly been a labor of love for you guys. So what's a completion date here? Do we have estimates on when we can see things happen?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a very complex project, and we want to, now that we've closed, really engage with the neighborhood and talk with all the different key stakeholders involved. But I think a best case is probably 24 months, and with the way that construction and permitting and planning goes, it could be longer, but we're going to aggressively try to get it done as quickly as possible, and it could be as soon as 24 months.
And you kind of touched on this, like, this is not just a takeover of a neighborhood. Like, you want involvement from folks, right?
Yeah, look, we want to go to the neighborhood, and look, we feel like we have a pretty good pulse from the neighborhood. We've talked to a lot of people from the neighborhood. We think this is something, like you and I discussed before we got on, is that this is something that people have wanted forever, is to have a place on the river to be able to go enjoy, food and drinks and friends and family. So I think that this becomes that.
An ambitious plan to be a great destination. Appreciate you being with us this morning. Of course, the Batcher estimated to be complete, as he mentioned, in the spring of 2026.